Welcome back. Well, a week ago we were unveiling the power rankings for North Dakota high school sports, and over the past week we've had some important games that have shaken things up a bit. So to get us all caught up, we bring in Jody Norstedt. And Jody, we're going to start on the ice where there was a big game that went down over the weekend.
Thanks, Kelly. It's kind of an interesting story because I think both teams felt like winners on Friday night when Fargo-Davies and Grand Forks Central played one of the best hockey games you'll ever see, and nobody scored a goal in regulation or overtime. Let's take a look at the highlights. Central trying to extend its winning streak to 32 games, an unbelievable number when it comes to hockey. Both goalies were standing on their heads. Let's start with a few saves from Davies junior Jared Winter. These are a few of his 40 saves on the night. Caleb Johnson, the junior from Central, was matching him on the other side. He made 30 saves. The talent of these teams was on display. Kyler Brisky makes a series of terrific moves before hitting the pipe in the third period. Overtime had everyone on pins and needles, but Johnson made even more incredible saves. Look at the chaos in front of the net. Oh boy. So after a scoreless tie, a shootout would decide the extra point in the standings. The first and only goal comes in the fourth round. Junior defenseman Brandon Holt, who had only one varsity goal coming into the game, notches what turns out to be the game winner. Johnson makes a stop on the ensuing Davies attempt. The marathon game ends in dramatic fashion. Afterward, we caught up with Holt, who said he didn't know what to think when his name was called for the shootout.
Coach looked at me and I was kind of like, I don't know, but I went out there and did what I do every day. I didn't shoot out in practice, low blocker.
We haven't had a game like this probably in over 30 games, so that's really good for our kids to be part of. We wish we had more like this, and what we're going to take from it is that's the way we have to compete day in and day out, and if we're going to have a chance at the end of the season, that's kind of how we got to play.
So with that officially going down as a tie, it's the first time that Central hasn't defeated its opponent in regulation or overtime since February of 2016, a stretch of 31 games. The unbeaten streak continues though. How about tonight? Let's go to our marquee matchups. On the boys' side, we have 3-2 Minot visiting 5-0 Bismarck High. The Demons have allowed just 3 goals through 5 games. On the girls' side, all eyes will be on Fargo North-South visiting West Fargo United. North-South has the top 3 scorers in the state with Grayson Myers, Anna Erickson, and Avery Myers. West Fargo goalie Brooklyn Mervick will have her work cut out for her. She's coming off a 47 save performance in a 2-1 loss to preseason number 1 Bismarck.
All right, well, we'll definitely keep an eye out for those matchups on the ice tonight, but I see some good matchups on the hardwood as well. The West Fargo Shanley boys game should be a good one, Jody, shouldn't it?
It should. That's where I'll be tonight as Joe Pastorius leads the Packers into Deacon country. Here's a look at the matchup. West Fargo is sitting at 2-0 and Shanley is at 1-0 after defeating Valley City. This game will have a big impact on my power rankings when I post them tomorrow on MidcoSN.com. The Packers swept the regular season series last year, but the Deacons have a really strong lineup. On the girls' side, I'm looking at the battle of unbeatens between Red River and Cheyenne. 2 teams that are kind of flying under the radar. Neither team is ranked yet. The Mustangs will need Maggie Manson to be at her best on the road in her future city. She plans to move to Grand Forks in a couple of years to play for the Fighting Hawks. Now the Davies boys basketball team is off to a 2-0 start and will play natural rival Fargo South tonight. Bart Manson's team is the preseason favorite to win the East, according to the state poll. Remember, this is an Eagles team that rattled off a perfect regular season last year, only to lose to eventual champ Minot in the semifinal round. Even though a couple of key pieces like Matt Veit and Jake Paper graduated from that squad, the memories of last year's finish still linger.
Every day we think about it, especially the kids that played last year and that were on the team. So that's a really big motivator every day. We're working a lot harder than we were last year. I already see that, and that's a good thing. We got a lot of kids that can come off the bench and even a lot of kids that'll start. We mix up the lineup every game, and we'll probably continue to do that for a while. So be unexpectable, and a lot of kids that can just fill in those positions. So yeah, we're pretty deep, and that helps us a lot.
Obviously, trying to replace 2 All-Staters with Jake Paper and Matt Veit is always a difficult thing, but we had, coming back into the season, quite a few kids who had got some minutes for us last year on the varsity, and so I think that's played into early on in the first 2 games for us, is that our depth is probably our biggest strength right now.
Now, Mitch Larson and Parker Stenzith have been really playing well so far this season for Davies. Now, before I send it back to you, Kelly, last week I pegged Stanley as my favorite to win the Class B crown. Here's video of their best player, Wyatt Hansen, throwing down some dunks in their tournament game last night. First, it's the alley-oop pass from Seth Hetzel. He makes it look so easy. Next up is going to be off the backboard rim rocker. Kelly, what do you think? This is Class B hoops.
I mean, we never had that happen at my school, so I am just absolutely amazed. Oh my goodness, that's impressive. For high school Class B hoops, let's go.
Yes, and that tournament wraps up on Friday, and I think the Stanley boys might do just fine. So pretty impressive stuff from Wyatt Hansen.
All right, well, awesome stuff. Thanks so much, Jody.
You bet.
All right, coming up after the break, we will talk all things South Dakota High School basketball. Jason and Darrow will be in the studio to give you the lowdown. That's next on Midco Sports Tonight.